So, so a little background. So Gwen, so Redefining Bold Podcast, you've been in the space of putting your voice out there in some form or fashion through your blog for like 10 years.
Yeah. 2011.
Yeah.
This will be 10 years.
Right. And over time, that's shifted from being heavily involved in the blog world to, and also like Pinterest, to starting a podcast. And there's been an evolution of kind of what it's like for you putting your voice out there and what you're talking about and things like that. So recently, so I also want you to tell them about like your art and stuff and how that's come into play. But just a little background for y'all. She's recently decided she's going to start doing more of her beautiful art and like putting it out there and like sharing that with us. So if you see it in the background of her view, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. And so there was some angst though. There was some angst that you were having on Tuesday. So I want you to tell us.
Yes. Sorry. I'm also a singer. Like I'm like true type 9, jack of many trades, master of none, right? And I'm trying to remember what your question was because I've in true 9 fashion I've already forgotten.
It's okay. No, on Tuesday you were just not in a normal Gwen space. Like oftentimes, oftentimes I'm the one coming to you saying like, I'm just not having a good day. I'm just off. Yeah. And so you were off on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was super off. And, I will give, maybe this might be a little bit TMI, but I'm going to give your listeners just a little bit of background so they have some perspective on the situation. I have struggled with a chronic condition called candidiasis, and it is the overgrowth of the Candida bacteria. It's the bacteria that causes yeast infections, thrush, etc. And so I've been very diligent over the past year almost in controlling it with diet. You can control it with diet if you don't eat sugar, carbs, etc., all the good
stuff.
Which
is but it's intense. It's like you have to go all in.
Very restrictive. Yeah. Yes, it's very restrictive. And then, you should be taking loads of probiotics and eating prebiotic food and all that fun stuff.
Right.
So, anywho, so I have done very well. And then Christmas was, little sketch there for me. And I've struggled just a little bit, but not too bad. Like I've done better than I think I have my entire life. Well, this past week was spring break and my husband and I went downtown. We just stayed in downtown Lynchburg at a fabulous hotel and ate dinner and went to the Star Hill Brewery and just had a wonderful time. And I'm guessing I just kind of overdid it. So when this happens, it has started causing ear infections. So I could feel this coming on. So Saturday, we were home Saturday and I ate some spaghetti. Don't eat carbs. Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yes. And something particular about semolina flour for me. And so I could feel it coming on Sunday. And then Monday I felt bad. And Tuesday I felt terrible. But learning about myself through the Enneagram has helped me tremendously because as a 9, I know my red flags. And so when I don't feel good, I just go and just collapse in the bed, pull the covers up, watch TV. I can't function, don't ask me to cook, not a thing. So I've been really taking notice of that and trying to kind of lean into maybe more of my 8 wing or more of my 3. Healthier would be 3, I guess. And kind of working through the pain, so to speak, functioning like I feel like every other normal person does when they're not feeling great. They still go to work, right?
Right.
So that's why I kept our call. I was like, I can do this and we'll get something out of it. I don't know what, but I did. So I was fighting through this when we were talking. I mean, it was a pretty significant moment for me. I did not feel good. I was feeling very confused, I think, about what to do with the website, the new website, the podcast, the old website, I have a little bit of PST with my old website because of Pinterest. this could be a whole nother podcast. We could sit and talk about Pinterest and the changes they have made, and
Yeah.
the roller coaster of income levels that I've been through since about 2016. And just I was in a huge conundrum, and I felt physically terrible, so I certainly couldn't think straight.
Right. And
So
it's
that was
so
Tuesday.
it was so different for you, because usually you come on whenever we have our weekly Zoom calls, just to kind of catch up on everything we're not talking about on Marco Polo. Usually it's a little more like down to business, like we're actually like trying to get somewhere with our conversations.
Yes.
But it was so different because usually you're upbeat, you have a smile, you're, just feeling good. And I'm used to you feeling good. And it made me so like, oh my gosh, like Gwen. And I'll tell you this, if I had been feeling bad, I would have been under the covers. I would have texted you and said, hey Gwen, we're going to do this another time. So way to be.
I mean, that's my 100% how I normally function in the world.
Yeah,
totally.
Okay. So you were feeling bad. And I think for me too, and I struggle with this kind of, I struggle with a roller coaster of, I'll be doing well mentally, emotionally, kind of like feeling good confidently over, I don't know, it could be a couple of weeks. It's usually not like a full month that I'm just like steady. Like I have a lot of ups and downs throughout the months in terms of my thoughts and confidence. I know we all have our ups and downs, but it was striking for me because I feel like I'm usually the one that's like, Gwen, I'm just having another off day. And you're like, what did we talk about last time, Lindsey? What did we talk about last time? We know, let's go back to the drawing board. So, well, I just feel like you have your go-to things that you do personally of like,
that's
okay,
true.
I don't feel well, but this is what I'm going to do to feel better. And
that's
it's kind
all
of
mental
like a machine.
stuff. I definitely have this kind of set process that I've developed, I guess, with self-compassion, giving. I mean, it took me a while to develop this, but now I can kind of pretty much do it instantly. So it's self-compassion. So having some self-compassion, self-awareness first. You have to have the awareness of, hey, wait a minute, I'm not in a good space. And then I give myself a lot of compassion, and I'll do this in the mirror, go in the bathroom and look at myself and do this. So once I figure out, have the self-awareness of what's going on, I go in the mirror and I'll talk to myself with great compassion. I mean, this is a huge, monumental shift, because I used to be so mean to myself, like ruthless. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it because it was just incredible. So loads of self-compassion. And then self-encouragement, you can do this, you've got this. And then empowerment, let's go.
Yeah, get out there, get back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so mentally, this is a huge shift. Now, the thing I think for nines, our physical bodies and how we feel can greatly affect everything else.
Yep.
So that is what you saw.
Yeah.
And that is how powerful, I mean, and granted, my ear hurt like the dickens. I mean, I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And it just throws me down and takes my mental game with it.
And I think that's what was so striking to me. It was because of the physical, you not feeling well physically, the normal things that you would have been saying were not even coming to your mind. Like you weren't even saying like, I feel horrible, but I mean, you may have said it a few times, but like, it was more like, I feel horrible and I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I don't think I can keep doing these things I'm passionate about anymore, or I just don't even know what I'm doing with my life. It was kind of like, I don't even know what I'm doing with my life anymore. And I was like, this isn't you. This isn't you. But it was okay too, because like, Lord knows I'm usually the one in that position. It's usually switched. So then got off the Zoom. We, you kind of did your thing. What'd you do the rest of the day after we talked on Tuesday?
I took some ibuprofen and I ate a good healthy lunch. I mean, when my ear started hurting, the first thing I did was go back on my restrictive diet. because that's the only thing that will, I can't go get antibiotics because it'll make it worse. I mean, it's not fun.
Right.
So by Tuesday afternoon, once I had the ibuprofen in me really well, I ate a really healthy, wholesome lunch, and a lot of it because it's very low calorically on this diet. And I drank a ton of water.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I slammed 3 16-ounce glasses of water, and I started to feel better. And I came in here and I was like, I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint. I'm
so
going
that
to
was
paint.
On Tuesday, later Tuesday?
That was Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
Tuesday later, about 3:00.
Okay.
And so I painted.
Yeah. And so then I chatted with you on maybe later on Tuesday and then on Wednesday. So this is the part that invigorated me so much. I just got so excited. And I'm actually going to play it because I'm putting my phone. Look at my little look at
you.
Look how wow.
Ingenuity.
If you can see my screen right now, if you're listening by audio, you don't know, but I've got really a setup over here with my phone. Super high tech. So I went from Tuesday, Gwen wasn't in a good place, to Wednesday. So before I play, tell me about the quote.
Okay. So when I was 19 years old, so I went to the University of Mississippi, and in Oxford, Mississippi. And when I was about 19, there's a wonderful bookstore on the corner called Square Books. And we used to go there and look at the books, and they carry just really Mississippi authors and, just really neat stuff. And so they also had a cafe upstairs. And so we were there one day, and I went to the bathroom and I saw this big poster, and the quote on it was from George Eliot, which is not George Eliot. This is a woman. Because we used to have to, have male pen names. I can't remember her actual name, but it was, it's never too late to be what you might have been. And I sat there in the bathroom in my 19-year-old self and looked at it and said, yeah, someday that's going to be me. When I'm 50, I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be, because I knew I wasn't on the right path at 19. Everyone around me, my voice teacher, my family, were encouraging me to go into music because, girl, I mean, I can sing. And I just didn't love opera, but that's what my voice is born for. And I knew I wasn't in the right place, in the right path. And seeing that quote, it was it actually gave me some hope. I've never forgotten that quote. I bought a card with the quote on it when I was probably I think it was that same day in the bookstore. I found the quote on a card and I bought it. And I was like, I've kept it. It's in my drawer in my bedroom. And it's just stayed with me and stayed with me and stayed with me.
Say it again. Say the quote again.
It's never too late to be what you might have been.
Yeah, that's so good. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I mean, that's it. That's the lead into what you were about to play.
So Gwen's telling me this quote on Marco, and then she goes into this.
So, I mean, that quote has stuck with me and stuck with me and stuck with me, and I'm never going to give up figuring this out. I'm never giving up. I will keep trying and keep trying and keep trying till I die. And I have this glimmer.
It sounds like a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah. I'm never giving up figuring this out. And when I heard you say that, going from where we were on Tuesday to that, and just seeing it in your face, seeing your whole aura had changed. You were a different Gwen. And you said, I'm never giving up figuring this out. I don't know what that was, but I have been through so many cycles in my life of, it's kind of this, I'm going to do it better this time. And then it's like 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh, not doing it better anymore. Okay, I'm failing. All right, here we are back again at the place where I feel like a failure, or I'm not meeting up to people's expectations. I'm not like, the people out there that have their life together. And the shame that comes along with that makes me want to quit what I'm trying to do, just stop trying to be something other than a couch potato, basically. And
I
so,
know that. I
yeah.
know what you're saying.
Yeah. And so for you to say, I'm never giving up figuring this out after I saw you on Tuesday, like feeling horrible, which I know that you were feeling like physically just ill, like you just didn't feel good physically. But the shift that you made and the empowerment that came from it, like I heard it from your gut. This is what I'm going to do. And then you go on, I'm not going to play the rest, but you go on just to talk more about like your art and how much you love it, and how much you just were ready to dive back into it. I think it's so interesting how our physical, like how we feel physically, and how that plays into our mental, how we're thinking about ourselves, and how that, affects our emotions, and how we can be on one day we can be so sure that we're doing the right thing in our lives. We are headed down the right road. This is the best I've ever felt. I just feel so confident. And then the next day it's like, nope, this isn't going to go anywhere. And then a day later, I'm back. We're good. I'm never going to give up.
Never. Gosh darn it. I'm not giving up. I mean, because like I've done so many things in my life. I've had so many ideas. I've taken so many paths. I'm going to be really honest here. I've never held an actual job for more than 2 years. Like I don't have it in me. And I just have kept searching for that thing that feels like home, from feeling this need to do something with my life and to put myself out there. And it's taking, I mean, I've had the blog, I've had a web design business, just number of things, now I had the podcast, and now I'm pursuing art. But I have to say, doing the art feels like home. And it feels like me. I feel more me now putting on this coat, than I ever have doing anything else. And so I have real hope at this point.
And I also want to just point out that people that are achievers and that have high energy, they're putting themselves out there. Maybe they don't feel this, but I hear them articulate that my business started this way, and then I kind of grew into this next thing. They're kind of always talking about it as this like stream of like it was always the plan, it was always good, it was it not they don't say it was always good, but they're just kind of they talk about it in a not in a when I get where I'm going type of way, but I'm doing the thing now, and I'm always doing the thing, and I'm I'm evolving into this person, but everything along the way is just I'm savoring it, and I think I'm pretty great all the time. Now that's just my chip on my shoulder. I'm just going to say that. But what I think that nines can take, you guys out there know I'm struggling with my 9 and my 9 and my 6ness. 9, 6s, 4s, whatever you want to call me. I struggle with this, like, if I'm good today, then I feel like, oh, I've never been this good. Like, okay, I'm good. I've really figured it out today. And then a year from now, I might figure something else out and be like feeling confident again. And I'm like, oh, now I've really figured it out.
Right.
So I'll look back to the past and think, oh, I never knew anything back here, and I was never doing anything good. But I say all this to say that you, as I've known you, and you're talking about all that you've done, I've seen you in a it's not, I don't think it's just the art that is setting you on fire. I think it is you're in a new place, and you're growing and figuring yourself out more, but I've heard you talk just as passionately about things you've done in the past. And so what I want to say is that I think that we need to give ourselves a little grace. Like you don't have to look backwards and say, man, I just wish I'd been doing this art the whole time. Like I
Right.
just really messed it up back there. Like
Right.
you've grown, it's just all been a journey of figuring out like, okay, now I want to do this. And if in a year from now you don't want to do any art, that's okay.
Right.
Gwen wants to do something different now.
Absolutely.
Gwen wants to take it in a different direction, and it's all beautiful. It's all Gwen. Like people out there in the world that are discovering your podcast and are getting to know you, like they don't need another achiever to listen to. They don't need another Rachel Hollis or whatever out there where they're like,
but that's what sells, Lindsey. That's what
I know, but like it doesn't
ways to be more productive.
No, you make it look tangible. You make it look real life, and people I feel shame whenever there are achievers out there saying, come on guys, why aren't you up at 3 a.m. in the morning doing blah, blah, blah. Come on guys, just do it. And I'm like, really?
So much shame.
Really?
I mean, all the people that I follow that are like, I just had $1 million launch. And I'm like, that just makes me tired. We don't feel like we have to post every day or create every day or show up every day. I will show up when I'm inspired to show up. I'll post when I'm inspired to post, and I was saying I'll paint when I want to, I'm inspired to paint.
Exactly.
I'll podcast when I'm inspired to podcast because I'm a 9. It's if I exhaust, this is my history. Go at the blog. Post, do all this stuff. I've got it. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm getting page views. Just crash, total crash. And 6 months later, I'm like, what happened? What do I do now? It's like, so that's where the Enneagram has really helped me a lot. And I'm still learning this, how much can I push myself and not even push myself? I don't want to use that. Let's reframe that. How much can I put myself into this on a daily basis and still maintain, this particular level of energy that I need, I'm learning how to honor my need for rest.
Yeah, that's good, because I think 9s struggle with, we've been labeled the sloth, we've been labeled lazy. And I mean, I don't think all 9s do this, but I think I have been like, wait, I'm not that. I can be this. I can have more energy. I can do this. And then we flip-flop to the other direction. And for me, I start operating out of shame. Like, okay, I got to do this. Everybody says, get out there. And if you're not, you're doing the wrong thing. So giving yourself permission is what you're saying.
Yes.
To just, it's okay if you have low energy.
Yes. And knowing that is a thing. And also I'm not alone, but yet I can figure out and am figuring out how to manage that and use it for my benefit. I really do think that it can be a powerful force in my life by acknowledging it and honoring it and truly doing these things when I feel that inspiration to do them. And I think I mentioned the other day, I said, I do think there is something key to consistency. I mean, I do think that is beneficial when you're trying to run a business, and there are things that you do have to take care of. But if you are taking care of yourself, if you are, physically taking care of yourself, and honoring that need for rest and stopping when you need to stop, or taking a break, or going for a walk, whatever it is that will rejuvenate you, that balance, that balance is vital. Vital. And before I didn't realize that.
How much all those played in.
Oh, how much rest I needed, how important it was, and how detrimental it was for me to beat myself up about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's really
sure.
Self-acceptance. It's really learning who I am and accepting who I am so that I can grow into what I'm truly meant to be. What I really mean is living into the fullness of myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how do you what does that look like for you to live into the fullness of who you are? Or how do you know when you're not doing that?
I think when I lose that train of thought, that worrying about, am I enough, those types of things.
Yeah. Okay.
But really, I think I sent you this page, this levels of growth. The top level of growth is just, self-aware and not worrying about it anymore. I mean, that's paraphrasing it,
Yeah.
but to really kind of know who you are. I laughed in that interview with Dr. Tom because he said the 9 is the one who can't choose a major in college.
Oh my gosh.
That was me.
I changed like 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
So many majors, and to be at this place I am now, I'm almost 50. I'll be 49 this summer. To feel like I know myself and be not just okay with it, but to be joyful in it.
Right.
All of my flaws, all of my gifts, everything. And I think that's true. I think that living into that is true health.
Yeah. So knowing ourselves can be hard for 9s. And I'm learning that it's actually 9s, 6s, and 3s struggle knowing themselves. Isn't that interesting? I saw that on a YouTube video by the Enneagram girl. And I've actually asked her to be on the podcast to talk about that. She's going to come. I'm going to interview her in a few weeks. And her name's Erin. And she's going to talk about what is it about the 3, 6, and 9 and their placement on the Enneagram that causes them to be kind of like, who am I? I don't know who I am. And I'm like, 3s don't know who they are? Like, oh, really?
That's shocking.
I know who they are, or I know who they're putting themselves out there to be. I love you, 3s. No, okay, let's be honest. 3s aren't listening to this. I'm just maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Never know.
Oh, but sometimes I think to know ourselves, it takes engaging with others and like having them like if you've known somebody for a long time and and they've kind of like observed your patterns or observed that the gold inside of us that comes out, and whenever we don't even notice it, sometimes it takes someone else to say, I've known you for 10 years and I know that you have your ups and downs, but this is the consistent, Gwen that I see you putting out there. That can be a good way to learn, like, okay, this is how others perceive me. And yeah, I do feel that. I do feel that, whatever their perception of me, I feel that is me, or, maybe their perception is off. But what I'm saying is sometimes it just takes someone else to point it out to us.
And I think that is so powerful because I never ask anyone for advice, really. I mean, it's rare. I never ask anyone what I should do. I'm not a pollster kind of person. I'm very private, which is why it makes it so difficult to be online all the time. But I'm definitely becoming more open and vulnerable, so that's a good thing. But so having you in my life has helped with that tremendously.
Yeah.
Tremendously, because when I have that day, even though you say it's very not often, you were there to say, wait a minute, let's think about this. Let's look at this. This is abnormal for you. Let's step back. And you do help to give me perspective that I really have never had, and encouragement that I don't have because I don't have these types of relationships.
Yeah.
It's a big change. It's a big change. Yes. So having someone that you can trust, who can be open and honest. I mean, I feel like we have a very open and honest, friendship, and that's a very powerful thing.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to
get that perspective.
It's hard to get to a point for me in friendships where I feel like I'm ready to be vulnerable. Like, it's hard to, it's hard to know how do I go from like getting to know a person to being like, oh yeah, by the way, like I'm like totally messed up. I'm like totally crazy.
Yeah. Let's see behind the curtain.
Yeah. On most days I'm crazy.
Who wants to look behind the curtain?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we are prone to feeling like we have to not rock the boat, obviously, or just put on the face, make things seem like everything's okay, like I'm dealing with this, or maybe we're just minimizing our issues. It's, for me, it can be different on any day.
It can.
I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you talking to me. I appreciate the vulnerability, because it's not easy to say like, yeah, I went from like saying I'm ready to quit, or, I don't think I can do this, to I'm never going to give up. I'm never going to give up trying to figure this out.
And when you feel bad like that, what I try to remember, I'm not sure I remembered it that day, was that I will feel better.
Yes.
Those moments truly are blips. They could last a long time, but if you have the presence of mind to say, I've felt better before, I can feel better again. I think that's this too shall pass, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to leave the listeners and the viewers out there with, that if you are struggling with something and you're like, yeah, this isn't good, or I'm not going to be able to follow through on this thing I wanted to do, or whatever, like, there's always something else around the corner. There's always a glimmer of hope. You said it on, I don't think I played it on the audio here, but you went on to say, I feel a glimmer of hope. And just like that little seed of something, it could be a friend saying, it's going to be okay. Or you drinking 2 gallons of water and being like, oh, that water just felt so good. Whoa, wait, I'm starting to feel, that sounds silly, but like, it really can just be that one thing that helps you turn the corner, and you're like, wait a second, I am going to be okay. I really am. Yeah. We're going to keep doing this.